If you're an executor of the estate and want to know where to get started, then today's episode is for you. Hi, my name is Tequila Zaharf, and I'm with Heart My Home Chicago. Today, I have my beautiful friend, Kathleen Oderkirk, here to share her story on how she became an executor of an estate and the necessary steps that you need to take to make things happen. Hi, Kathleen. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine, Tequila. Thank you for having me.
So it's so great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, and I totally missed you.
Oh, well, thank you.
You don't know how much I missed you. I've even told my husband how much I missed you. But today we're here to talk about how you have became this new executor of an estate. How did that happen?
I had actually twice in the last 6 years I've been executor, and they were good friends that I'd known for a while. And both of them, unfortunately, were very ill with cancer and didn't really have any family members that could, they had family members, but no one that they really trusted. And that's the main thing about being an executor. Whoever names you as their executor trusts you with their lifetime of possessions and their money. And your job is to put into play their last wishes. Both times that I did it, I had a will. And that's a technicality. You're not an executor unless you're named in a will as an executor. So your job is to dispose of all of their belongings and liquidate any accounts they have, and then distribute them to the heirs, the people that they name in their will. If the total amount is less than $100,000, it's easy. One of mine was that way. You can get an affidavit off of the clerk of the circuit court's website that says small estate. You follow the instructions and you fill it out and you give it to the bank and everything is good. The two things you have to do immediately when someone passes away is tell the funeral director you need at least 10 death certificates, because every place you go to, the bank, the Social Security, the pension people, they want to know that the person's gone. And then you need to file the will with the clerk of the circuit court. Doesn't cost anything, but you need to do that. And then at that time, you ask them to make a certified copy so that you've got proof that you've been named the executor. Those things have to be attached to that affidavit. If there's more than $100,000 involved, it's got to go to probate court. And then you got to go to a lawyer and they take it from there. They'll walk you through it. But it's important to have the death certificate and the will for the lawyer.
So Kathleen, you was recently had an estate that was larger than $100,000. How was that?
A lot more complicated because my friend had a will, but she did everything online. All of her bills, all of her banking, all of her investments, and she wouldn't share with me her usernames or passwords or any of the account information. So I had to discover that after she died. It took me 6 months to find out most of that stuff. And so my one big thought on this is, if you know you're going to be an executor, sit down with that person. These are difficult conversations, but say, I need you to list all this stuff. If they don't want to give you that information because they're concerned about, giving it out, tell them to put it in a safe spot. And a good thing to do is you can get all different size boxes, but fireproof boxes. And they can put their will in there, their list of accounts. They might have insurance, pensions, IRAs, investments, the deed to their house, a mortgage, their lease if they rent, title to their car, all that stuff. It'll drive you crazy if you have to play Sherlock Holmes to figure out what do they have, then once we figured out what they had, then distributing it to the heirs. And the important thing to remember too is you need to get receipts from all of them that say, yeah, the will said I'm supposed to get this jewelry. I got it. The hardest thing is disposing of personal property. Nobody wants the dishes. Nobody wants their clothes. So finding places where you can donate and or give them away or sell them is a real important part of being an executor. When someone trusts you to be their executor, it's a sacred obligation for you to fulfill their last wishes. And no amount of pressure from one of the heirs saying, well, he's a flake and I don't want him to get the money. You can't do that. Because if you don't follow what the decedent said in their will, you as the executor can be in trouble. And there are legal consequences to not following that. So, that's been my experience. This will, it's 2 years and 3 months, and I'm still not finished with everything because the process of liquidating all of this has been very, very difficult.
I can imagine. So this was a larger estate. And at the same time, if you had to go find everything, I can see the frustration. And what about their utility bills? And, we talk about the mortgages and we talk about the other bigger possessions, but what about those little smaller details of possessions?
I couldn't, on the big estate, I couldn't even contact any of those places until I was appointed officially as executor by a court. And this one was tied up with COVID. So it took longer for the court. They were doing all the things on Zoom, and my lawyer would say, oh, sorry, we can't get your, paperwork yet. But I had to wait until people contacted me. They would send a letter to her at her house saying, we're going to turn off the electricity because you haven't paid in 6 months. And I'm like, yay, now I know what the account number is and how to pay these people. Mm-hmm. So it's so important to get all that information from your friend or family member of all their accounts and the account numbers. And like I said, they can put it in a safe place, all in one spot, so that you know where to go from there. Mm-hmm. But my biggest tip would be, if you have elderly friends that are relying on you, sit down with them and talk to them about, it's a hard conversation, but sit down and talk to them about, what do you've got all this jewelry. Is there somebody that you'd like to get this? Or what do you want me to do with it? And get them to commit. And the best way is for them to contact an attorney and get a will drawn up.
Okay.
But, those are the highlight. The other tips, I think I already mentioned, get like a fireproof box that you can put stuff in, and talk to them about what needs to be done.
I can imagine this is such a huge responsibility for anyone, and it's a huge undertaking. And just being able to honor their wishes is actually something that's huge, and it could be a very big blessing because someone's telling you what they want before they even leave. So my question to you, how difficult was that to just even honor the wishes?
Well, one of my comments about this big estate was, if she wasn't dead already, I'd kill her. Because it was such a mess. But I'm almost there. The last bunch of stuff I brought to my lawyer yesterday, and it's a weight off my shoulders, but a job well done. Mm-hmm. And she had a niece and a couple of nephews living in Florida, and they're going to get a lot of money very soon, and it will change their lives. So it's made me happy, and it also you have to understand that when somebody is dying and they know they're dying, to know that they can trust you to take care of all this really helps them pass peacefully. And like you said, it's a blessing to know that you helped in that regard.
It is. I know we don't want to think about death, but we all gonna go someday.
It's a hard conversation.
And just to be able to put yourself in a situation where you get to say, I get to, when I exit, it's exiting, at least knowing everything else is taken care of. I mean, I want to say thank you so much for coming here today and
Thank
even
you for-
sharing this story. You know, I know it's not easy. I know these conversations in general are never easy. Anything that we're talking about around death, illness, and having to plan is extremely hard. And so I really want to say thank you. Kathleen and I would like to say thank you for watching. Please know that we are not attorneys. We are not providing any legal advice. We are purely sharing our beautiful stories, hoping that you can actually receive help and guidance out of them. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Heart My Home Chicago if you're thinking about selling or you're in an estate situation. My name is Tequila Zaharf, and thank you for watching.